Welcome back to Open Line, talking about 9 historic buildings deemed threatened by historic Nashville. We have heard about 4 of these buildings or areas. One was even a neighborhood. Let's go to the next one. Lifeway Christian Resources Campus. This is, it's on Broadway in Church.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody recognizes this one. It was originally the Baptist Sunday School Board, and now it's Lifeway Christian Resources. It's been operating for over 120 years. The 15-acre downtown campus is important for both its history and architecture. It's the home of an important religious publishing house based in Nashville. There's a 9-building campus, includes the Frost Building, a 5-story neoclassical revival-style building constructed in 1913. And it's listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And also the Sullivan Tower, an 11-story Art Deco-style high-rise constructed in 1941 to 1953. Both architecturally distinctive buildings, and they were both designed by the local architecture firm of Hart Freeland Roberts.
They're definitely distinctive.
Yes.
They're older. You can tell they're not built, in the last 5 years. But here is what concerns me. Lifeway is in the process of selling the campus to a consortium of local and national developers for a mixed-use redevelopment, including office, retail, residential, entertainment, and a hotel. So this doesn't sound good.
There are big plans for it. There are definitely big plans for it. I have not seen all the plans, but my understanding is some of this would probably still be incorporated into that. I don't sure how, but that is why we bring this up now. We bring it to the attention of hopeful developers as they're putting together their final plans for it. We'll consider ways to incorporate this into their new plan.
The next one is one that won't surprise many people, Music Row, the entire neighborhood, which makes good sense.
Yeah, it's been a, there's been a lot of great things that are happening on Music Row right now. There's a study right now to kind of look at all the historic properties. I was just at a meeting last week about the planning has looking at a type of an overlay for it. There's a big plan to see how it can be planned for now and in the future, and what needs to be preserved and what needs to be open. So I will have to put my take my hat off to the Music Row community for stepping up. I think what happened last year with Studio A was phenomenal. And I think that's what brought everybody's attention. That look out, we're about to lose our Nashville treasure right now. So we've actually, because of the emphasis of the community, we felt this was important to look at a whole neighborhood, and hopefully for many years to come we'll be able to drive down there and see little pieces of history and be able to tell our own little stories about who recorded in these places.
And yeah, look at some of the beautiful homes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so distinctive, but I think there has been a wake-up call because it's going fast.
It's going fast.
It's, again, a high rent area, very very popular area, and so it needs to be preserved.
Right. I heard that one. That's the tower is going to be. There's a developer's already looking at doing something with it and keeping it intact. So, when they're instead of tearing it down, they are looking at ways to. I think maybe even that's turning that into a hotel or something like that. So that's the kind of thing we want. Look at it and don't look at it just how we can tear it down. Let's look at it and keep it. And then not only is your place what it is now, but it's also a piece of history, and people will come by and look at it and want to be in it just because of what happened in the past there.
The next place in North Nashville, Pagoda of Medicine. This is 707 Youngs Lane.
Yeah, we really all kind of took to this one because we had no idea this was around. And it's such a great little, unique little building. Has kind of a Frank Lloyd Wright type of architecture to it. It's a mid-century modern, which is the kind of the new historic buildings, and it's associated with a really rich Nashville African-American history. It's the former Riverside Adventist Hospital campus, but the building was originally owned by Dr. Carl Ashley Dent, and he was an African-American physician and missionary for the African-American Seventh-day Adventist Church that was founded in 1883, and he became the first African-American offered a medical internship at Los Angeles County General Hospital. Why I just say all these things is he himself had a rich history. His building had a unique history. He was hired as the medical director of Nashville's Riverside Sanitarium, founded in 1927 as a segregated hospital. So he has a rich history, but it was also designed by an African-American architect, Leon Quincy Jackson, and he was a notable African-American architect in this area, and he actually studied under a disciple of Frank Lloyd Wright, which Bruce Goff, who was a protege of his. So we really do have this Frank Lloyd Wright lineage by an African-American architect who also was an instructor right here at Tennessee State University. One last quick story about this, that when it showed up in the Nashville 9, his daughter reached out to us, and this was, you know, it's kind of great. She, you know, very emotional to see her dad's, you know, building here on our Nashville 9. So we were really, really excited to talk to her and learn more about the architect. So you've got the story of the architect, you got the story of the owner, Dr. Dent. So we're
that's a very unique building. Okay, we have about 3 minutes left, 2 to go.
Okay.
Rural cemeteries. This is a broad one, but rural cemeteries, about a minute on that.
Cemeteries are really being a lot of disarray. They, you know, people who were taking care of it have moved over, but cemeteries have a rich history. They have a lot of history and a lot of things. As you go through the cemeteries, you see the headstones. So almost every year we have cemeteries on this Nashville 9 list.
Next one is the last one, Whites Creek Rural Historic District. So another district.
Another district is located in the northwest section of Davidson County, Whites Creek, and it's a 157-acre district that contains buildings constructed between the 1830s and 1900s. I mean, there are many buildings in this area that fall right into a very historic area, nature. There's some of the earliest settlers made their homes in Whites Creek, including Frederick Stump, who signed the Cumberland Compact in 1779. So this was another one that we felt like it was the best thing to do, was to actually do a whole community, do a whole district, just because there's so many in this area.
And so in our final minute and a half or so, you know, what do you want people to take away? What's kind of the call to action here?
The call to action is, number one, if you have something special to you, if you have a historic site, property, a story, you know, get on our website, Historic Nashville Inc., look up Nashville 9, and first start there. Get it on our Nashville 9. But don't by any means stop there. Start talking to your council person, start talking to your other people in your neighborhood, and find out what a plan, what could be done. A lot of times, you know, to developers, you know, defense, they don't even know that people care about these buildings. I think, you know, to the people that own Studio A, once they heard how many people were interested, well, if you want to buy it, you can buy it, and great people who stepped up and bought it. So if you have something, you know, bring it to attention. Don't just say, well, I hope that never goes, because it could go and it could be gone, and we'll never get it back.
It's part of what is important when you are planning a city is just to talk about this stuff.
Talk about it. And that's what we want to be. We want to be part of the conversation. We want people to be part of the conversation of what's important to Nashville, to keep Nashville unique.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back in a few moments. We'll wrap everything up. Take a break. Be back right after this.